Okay, so you guys are not going to believe this.
Yeah.
37 giant beetles were found in snack packages at LAX.
What?
Giant beetles
Oh my goodness.
in snack packages.
In snack packages.
Can you even imagine?
Wow.
So we're diving into an ABC7 Los Angeles news report from today, February 6th, 2025.
Okay.
To try to understand, like, what in the world is going on here?
Yeah, it really is a head scratcher.
Yeah.
These beetles are estimated to be worth around $4,480.
Wow.
And were found in multiple packages of Japanese snacks, like potato chips and chocolate.
Oh, wow.
It seems someone intentionally hid them, hoping they'd slip through customs unnoticed.
It's so strange.
Right.
Like, who would even think to do that?
Yeah.
And why snacks?
Right.
Were they hoping the smell of potato chips would mask the scent of the beetles?
That's an interesting thought.
Yeah.
But it's more likely they were simply trying to conceal the beetles within a common import.
Oh.
The sheer number of them, though, that points to something more deliberate than a simple mistake.
So it sounds like we're talking about smuggling.
Yeah.
But who is buying giant beetles?
Right.
And why?
Well, there's a surprising demand for exotic insects among collectors and enthusiasts. Some species can fetch a high price on the black market.
Wow.
Yeah. These beetles weren't just some, like, random bugs or anything either.
Oh, really?
They were huge.
Wow.
4 to 5 inches long. According to the report, U.S. Customs and Border Protection agriculture specialists discovered them
Okay.
during a routine inspection of air cargo arriving from Japan.
So we've got giant beetles.
Yeah.
Smuggled from Japan. This is starting to sound like the plot of a bad sci-fi movie.
Right.
But seriously, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Why are customs officials so concerned about, like, a few beetles?
Well, it's not just a few beetles. It's about protecting our agricultural system.
Oh.
Cheryl M. Davies, CBP Director of Field Operations in LA, said they may look harmless, but smuggled beetles pose a significant threat to our vital agriculture resources.
Oh, okay. Now I'm starting to get a little nervous.
Yeah.
What kind of damage can these beetles actually do?
These beetles, depending on the species, can be incredibly destructive.
Really?
They could defoliate crops, damage fruit trees,
Wow.
or even attack the roots of essential food plants.
You're saying these beetles could potentially devastate our food supply?
That's the concern.
Wow.
And it's not just about, like, the immediate damage.
Yeah.
Introducing a non-native species can have unpredictable and long-lasting consequences for the entire ecosystem.
So how do we even begin to control something like this?
Right.
Are these inspections really enough to stop these smuggled insects?
Inspections are a critical first line of defense. CBP agriculture specialists play a vital role in intercepting these pests before they can enter the country.
It must be like looking for a needle in a haystack, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do they even know where to look?
They have to be incredibly vigilant, examining shipments from all over the world.
Right.
And it's not just about finding the insects themselves, it's about recognizing the signs of their presence.
Okay.
They look for things like unusual packaging sawdust, or even droppings that might indicate insects are hiding within a shipment.
Wow, I never realized how much work goes into, like, keeping our country safe from these tiny but potentially devastating threats.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how many other things are being intercepted that we never even hear about.
The report actually mentions that CBP seized an average of 3,287 prohibited plants,
Wow,
meat, and animal byproducts daily in 2023.
that's crazy.
They also intercepted over 231 agricultural pests each day.
Wow, those numbers are staggering.
Yeah.
It makes this beetle incident seem even crazier.
Yeah.
So what happens to the beetles once they're caught? Do they just, like, squash them?
That would be a shame.
Yeah.
Remember, many of these insects are valuable,
Right.
even if they are illegal to import.
Right.
The beetles in this case were turned over to USDA officials.
Okay.
They'll determine the best course of action.
So what are the options?
What-
What happens to these confiscated beetles?
There are a few possibilities.
Okay.
They could be donated to zoos or research institutions that have the proper permits to house them.
Right.
They could also be preserved in an entomological collection for scientific study. It really depends on the species and the circumstances.
So these beetles might end up as a fascinating exhibit at a zoo.
Yeah,
Or as a valuable specimen in a scientific collection.
right.
That's a strange twist, isn't it?
Yeah.
From smuggled contraband to educational resources.
It's certainly a reminder that even in the strangest situations, there can be unexpected outcomes.
Right.
But the key takeaway here is the importance of these regulations and the tireless work of those who enforce them.
Yeah, it really makes you think, doesn't it?
Hmm.
We often take our food security for granted, but it's a complex system that relies on a delicate balance.
Exactly. And this incident highlights how interconnected our world is.
Mm.
Something as seemingly innocuous as a few beetles can have far-reaching consequences.
It's true.
It's a reminder that we need to be aware of the potential impacts of our actions.
Right.
Even those that seem small or insignificant.
I don't think I'll ever look at a bag of chips the same way again.
Right.
This whole thing has been a real eye-opener.
Yeah.
What do you think, listener? Have you ever considered the journey your food takes to reach your plate and the potential risks involved? This is a wild world out there. I mean, giant beetles in snack packs. It's enough to make you want to check every single thing you buy.
I wouldn't go that far, but it does raise a crucial point about global trade and our role as consumers.
Oh, really? Like, what do you mean?
Think about it, we're constantly importing goods from all over the planet. And while that's amazing in many ways, it also opens the door for unintended consequences.
Yeah.
You know? We have to be aware of the potential risks, even if they seem small or insignificant.
Like smuggling giant beetles.
Exactly. This incident is a bizarre example, but it highlights a much larger issue. We have to be mindful of the choices we make and how they impact the delicate balance of our ecosystems. Whether it's exotic pets, plants, or even insects, we need to be aware of the potential consequences of introducing non-native species into our environment.
So what can we do? It feels a bit overwhelming, honestly.
It starts with awareness. Learn about the risks associated with importing exotic species. Support organizations that are working to protect our ecosystems. And most importantly, be a responsible consumer.
That makes sense. So ask questions, do your research, and don't support illegal activities.
Yeah.
Even if it means missing out on a giant beetle collection.
Exactly. Sometimes our desires can have unexpected and harmful consequences. We have a responsibility to be informed and make choices that protect our planet.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder. So the next time you reach for that bag of imported snacks, remember the story of the giant beetles and the importance of protecting our delicate ecosystem. It's a shared responsibility, and even small actions can make a difference. Thanks for diving into this bizarre but important topic with us today.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.